Today's cardinal lesson is about life insurance for people in their 60s and 70s and maybe even their 50s, to talk about whole life insurance and having a policy in force on the day you pass away, for your family, of course. So being a life insurance salesperson for, I think it's 45 years this summer that I've been hawking life insurance to people, and you can imagine that I've been thrown out of better places than I'm standing in right now, and people are always a little bit kind of avoiding the life insurance sales pitch. So if that's you, now would be a good time to hit the stop button. No, just joking, all jokes aside, the life insurance salesmen, are not usually popular people at a cocktail party, but I can tell you, you're the most popular person at the funeral that shows up because, I'm bringing money for the family. And I've had the pleasure of delivering life insurance checks to, a couple of hundred clients over my years. I was a branch manager for a large life insurance company, and so they would send the checks to me and we would deliver them personally. And that's a great experience to me of really beginning with the end in mind. So when I'm doing life insurance, and I'm proposing it to people and I'm suggesting that they take the step of buying the stuff, to begin with the end in mind, and to which is what people are doing, is they're thinking about, after my death, I want my family to immediately receive a significant amount of money to pay for things that, are created by my absence, like a funeral and expenses around that and travel expenses for the family, and my Social Security check stops. So today we're talking, and most of my business is to retired people, and a lot of folks have had term insurance their whole life and work insurance, and that's the right thing to do when you're younger and you have young children and you have a big mortgage, and it's going to create a big devastation if somebody passes away, loses their income, the family can be left impoverished. Term insurance is the way to go. In retirement, a lot of folks falsely believe that I don't need life insurance. I've got investments, I got a 401k. And, I have many people that I sit with and I do financial planning for. I help them with their money, I help them with their Medicare insurance, and they're going to win that argument every time, as they just say, I ain't buying it. I don't think I need it, and I've got other money, and there you go. And, so what I want to get across to people is that, it's my belief that having some amount of life insurance, of whole life insurance, that's going to be there for your family after your passing is, whether that's a need, and with many people it is a need, that there's going to be a need amongst the family members for some immediate cash to be around to pay for things, or whether it's a want. I mean, a lot of people want to leave $5,000 or $10,000 to their church, and then they put that in their will, and the church may be one of the last people to be paid out of probate years later. You put them down as a beneficiary on your life insurance for a portion of it, that money's going to go right there. The same thing if you had a caretaker late in your life, or you had a special niece that maybe you don't want to leave all your nieces and nephews something, but if you want to name somebody and you want it to go to them privately in a quick manner, and they're going to get a check after your life for funeral. I mean, we have a lot of clients that put down an amount like $5,000 to each of their grandchildren, or some percentage of a policy like this. So this is, the difficult stuff to talk about that I'm talking about, and the conversation always gravitates to the numbers. And what I'm going to say as a life insurance salesperson is, this stuff is all safe. As soon as we get into the numbers and we get the printouts and we get the charts, everybody wants to dwell on this, as whether it's a good buy or not. And that's all fine and good, but it's safe conversation. What I was talking about, I began the video, that's the difficult conversation. And that's the stuff that's really going to make a difference for you in your planning, to really have those difficult conversations and then take some action and get a life insurance policy in force. So this is right in the sweet spot of our market, and I chose an amount of $40,000 worth of life insurance. And I chose that because that's pretty close to the minimum amount that this hire company will sell you life insurance. In other words, you can't buy $10,000 of this policy or $15,000 of this policy. This thing is so competitive and so properly priced, and it's underwritten with some difficulty, that this is about the smallest policy that they're going to sell. But the value is there. Now, this next policy, they'll sell you 2,000 of this. So you literally could take 5% of this premium and maybe add a little fee to that, and you could buy a $2,000 policy at these same rates. So this policy down here on the bottom could be bought in much smaller amounts, and we'll be happy to sit down with you and write as small of a policy as you'd want. I'm just sitting with 40,000 as a base level for somebody in their 60s, and I've put the rates of a 68-year-old person just simply so it'd be too easy to put 65 up here, and a lot of our clients and a lot of the people that we're sending this out to or that pick it up on YouTube are older than 65, and many of them in their 70s. You can buy this stuff all the way up to age 85. This one you can buy through age 80. Okay, it's going to be more expensive than this, but still doable. We write life insurance policies for larger than this on people in their 70s all the time, late 70s. There's people that sit around and they see this, and it makes sense to have this immediate payment going to the family for settlement costs, and to have people quickly receive a small inheritance or a large inheritance. So I really wanted to just put some prices up there. And so what we've got up here is, if we had a 68-year-old male, $190 a month buys him $40,000. But to get this, you got to take a physical. You don't have to be in perfect health. They're pretty accepting of people having some chronic conditions like high blood pressure and even some well-controlled diabetes and a number of conditions. They're still going to take you on this, so you don't have to be like in perfect health, but they are going to do a physical or a paramedical exam, and they're going to ask you a whole bunch of health questions, one of those things with a picture of your body on there, where they got arrows pointing at things. And for a lady, this is substantially less. For a female, $144.56 a month for the same 40,000. Now the difference here and here is this policy is easy issue. If somebody wanted to buy one of these and you called me up on the phone, by the end of the day, or certainly by noon tomorrow, I can have one of these policies issued, because we're going to simply fill out an application, and then you're going to talk to the insurance company, or maybe even not. We're going to do it on the computer. They're going to look up your prescription history just to see that you don't have any serious prescriptions for some serious illnesses. They're going to issue the policy immediately. So this is just simply a matter of answering some easy health questions, possibly talking to the insurance company on the phone to just ask you the same questions, and it's a guaranteed issue. And you can see for the exact same thing, a lady's going to pay almost $40 a month more for this. A man's almost $70 a month more for this, but that has most to do with the fact that these people are taking a lot more clients without really knowing too much about them without a health statement. We also have about 10 flavors of this life insurance. In other words, we have 10 different insurance companies that sell this exact same thing. Their prices vary a little bit, but they have different underwriting standards. So if we run into somebody that has trouble with the health questions with this company, then we've got their answers. We go back into our database, and we know that this company might only ask a 2-year history, whereas this one is asking a 5-year. So we're able to, or some companies don't even ask whatever it is you have. We've got a lot of ability to use several companies to get you insured. So these are the numbers, and like I said, that's the safe stuff. I'm just bullish on people that are in their 60s, they're planning their retirement, they're doing their IRA, they're setting up an income, we're setting up their Social Security, we're getting their Medicare aligned properly, and helping them with their taxes, trying to minimize taxes, increase their income. I just think it's smart to have an amount of life insurance. We can get into a discussion about the amount, and it may end up being much larger than this, as once you see the wisdom in this and the value in it. I just want to get across the point that I think that everybody should have some life insurance. If you've got an existing policy, we may be able to use the existing policy, but then I'm going to want to read that for you to make sure that it's going to stay in force for the rest of your life, and it's going to be there to pay you when it's needed. So I'm Hans Scheil, and I thank you for listening.